Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I want to make a comparison between two SUVs that compete in the small crossover segment. Now this is a comparison I haven't seen posted here on YouTube, so hopefully this helps anyone out that is interested in either of these vehicles behind me. And speaking of the vehicles behind me, on my right I have a 2021 Ford Bronco Sport Outer Banks, and on my left I have a 2023 Hyundai Tucson Limited. Now these are more the luxurious trims in each of these two vehicles, although one is clearly marketed as being more of adventurous and off-road capable than the other one. On paper though, these two vehicles are much more similar than one might assume on the surface level. Now both these vehicles fit into the same compact crossover segment of SUV. They make similar horsepower and torque. They get very similar gas mileage. They can both tow 2,000 pounds. They are both all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. They both come in right around the same $40,000 price point when equipped equally, so I think you get the point. So with all this in mind, let's not waste any more time and take a look at the two vehicles behind me. So the vehicles in front of me once again is a 2021 Ford Bronco Sport Outer Banks, finished in the Area 51 exterior color. I think this is a very popular color on not only the Bronco Sport, but also the Ford Maverick pickup. And then on my right, once again, the Tucson Limited. This is finished in the intense blue exterior color. I don't think this is overly common on the Tucson, but it's definitely not uncommon, and it's not a color for everybody. It definitely stands out. But like I mentioned in the introduction, I think these two vehicles are very comparable when it comes to paper, but when it comes to actual execution and the overall design elements inside and out, I think they go about it quite differently. So starting out with the 2021 Bronco Sport, this is actually my first time being hands-on with this generation, or a vehicle in particular. I shouldn't say generation because this is an all-new model. But this rides on the same platform as the Ford Escape, and I believe shares many components with the Ford Maverick as well. Up front, you're going to find the very rugged looking front end. And like I've seen in some other videos out there, this kind of has a similar vibe to the older generation Ford Escapes, with the overall squared off body lines and just rugged nature and look. Up front of the Outer Banks, you're going to have LED headlights with LED daytime running lights, LED turn signals. Very nice look to it, and you have the Bronco script bold in the grille with the black accents. It's a very rugged look for sure, and shares similar design elements to its big brother, the regular Bronco, which of course competes with the Jeep Wrangler. You do have LED fog lights on the Outer Banks with the black front bumper and the trim that kind of runs the exterior perimeter, which again is very similar to the Tucson over there. They just go about it a little bit differently. You have the nice design on the hood, which kind of gives you the bulge look to it, and it's very flat. So when you're sitting inside the vehicle, you definitely see most of the hood. Coming over to the wheels and tires, these are your 18-inch Outer Banks wheels. They're machine finished with black accents. They're 225/60 Michelin Primacy AS all-season tires, so a more road-going tire. There is optional wheel and tire setups on the Bronco Sports that are more tailored to all-terrain tires. There's your Outer Banks on the door. Black mirror caps, so not body color, which is a little bit surprising on this trim. But you do get the body color door handles, which I believe this is the only trim that does get those handles. You have the two-tone look going on with the black roof. Nice aggressive roof rails up top, so you can mount all your gear up there with roof racks. Gloss black C-pillar here. And when you come out back, you get more of that Bronco Sport script. Bold and center on the tailgate. Incandescent lighting, black bumper with rear parking sensors. I believe this one is optioned with the 2,000-pound towing capacity hitch. Backup camera. You can open the rear glass as well as the tailgate separately here. So that is a nice feature that is not available on the Tucson or any other Hyundai model. So again, that goes towards that rugged, more outdoorsy vibe. You can see these taillights are partial LED, kind of the running light there. But yeah, the overall design of the Bronco Sport is definitely more boxed off and squared off than something like that Tucson over there. Now when we come over to the Tucson, specifically the limited trim, this is going to be the most luxurious Tucson you can purchase. So up front you do get full LED lighting with daytime running lights, LED projector headlights lower in the bumper, so you get the split lighting design versus something more traditional like the Bronco Sport over there. Darkened chrome grille, front camera for the 360 camera system, which I don't believe is available at all on the Bronco Sport. Front parking sensors, just an overall more luxurious look to the vehicle. Still have that same black body cladding like I showed on the Bronco Sport over there, but again, slightly different design. more sculpted hood that kind of falls off so you don't get as much hood view when you're in the driver's seat. Body color mirror caps, LED turn signal indicators, a little bit of satin chrome accents. Cameras in the mirrors for the blind spot view monitor as well as the 360 camera system. Blind spot detection. Still have the body color door handles. But you can see from the side profile here, it's not as squared off and as boxy as the Bronco Sport. More traditional crossover vibe, I would say, on the Tucson, although this has a ton of aggressive lines you can see in the door panels here, which was not found on many crossovers just a few years ago. Still have the machine finish wheels with the gray accents. These are going to be 19-inch in size, so 1 inch bigger than the Bronco Sport over there. Funny enough, they are actually riding on the same Michelin Primacy all-season tire. This is a 235/55/19, so that is a little bit interesting that they share the same tire. But out back, you'll see you do have LED lighting for the tail lights, and the incandescent turn signals and reverse lights are located lower on the bumper with more of that gray accent. Still have rear parking sensors, backup camera, all that good stuff. But you can see, comparing the two back ends, that's going to be much more boxy and squared off compared to something like the Tucson. And of course, the Tucson in this generation doesn't have the wiper located down here like a traditional SUV would. It's located up in the spoiler. So hopefully that gives you an idea of the exterior design language between these two vehicles. You can see they are quite different indeed. So starting out with the Bronco Sport interior, you can see immediately agreed to the traditional Ford touch keypad, so you can access the vehicle just using a security code. This does have touch sensitive door handles to unlock it just by pulling the handle. However, this does not have any digital key option like the Hyundai over here, where you can use your phone as the key. On the inside, you're definitely going to find a more rugged or durable materials on the door panels and such. So this is a nice pattern texture material, but it is pretty hard touch. It has a little bit of give to it, so it's not completely hard touch plastics. This one has the nice two-tone interior option with the brown and gray accents. Power windows, mirrors, and locks. Lots of storage down below in the door panel. I believe they designed this so you could fit some full-size water bottles in here. You can see how deep and wide that is. Power driver seat with two-way power lumbar. And once again, the black and brown accents look very nice. I love the two-tone look going on here. It's actually more of like a three-tone, black leather, gray cloth with the outer brown leather. Looks very nice. And immediately you'll feel at home if you're used to any newer Ford products. You can see in the gauge cluster here, we have the 6.5-inch partially digital configurable cluster. So you have your analog tachometer and speedometer. Gear selection down below, typical Ford stuff. But in the middle, you have that larger screen that you can change for the safety systems, TPMS. You have your speed readout there. You have a little speed limit indicator, as well as all the usual configurable stuff. Leather wrap steering wheel, but it is a little bit more coarse than something you'll find on Hyundai products. I believe this one is optioned with the Copilot 360 Plus. So this has the lane centering, the adaptive cruise control, all the recent stuff from Ford. Audio controls on the right side, as well as your buttons for that digital gauge cluster. Automatic high beam assist with your lane centering once again. And this one actually does have rain sensing wipers, so that is a nice feature to have for sure. On the left of the steering wheel, you have your lighting, so your automatic headlights are over here. LED fog lights, like I said, your tailgate release, gauge illumination, all the usual stuff found on the left side. Moving over to the infotainment, this is the 8-inch. I believe this is Sync 4 with built-in navigation. So if you go ahead and click nav there, you'll see it'll pull up the map with the built-in navigation software. Nice to have hard touch physical buttons, and again, I think that goes with the nature of this vehicle and some of the design languages they're going after. You have a nice cubby down below the screen. I know wireless charging was optional on this vehicle, and I don't believe this one has it, but that might be where that's actually at. Dual zone automatic climate control down below. 3-stage heated seats, heated steering wheel. You actually have 3-stage fan speeds as well, just like the Hyundai, so that is a similarity there. USB-A and USB-C ports, 12-volt outlet, nice storage space. This could also be where the wireless charging pad would be found if it was optioned with it. You can see here in the center console, they've kind of freed up a bunch of space by just having the rotary dial shifter. So again, similar to the Hyundai in that it's a digital or shift-by-wire system and not a traditional lever. Electronic parking brake, and here's your GOAT modes or go over all terrain. This has 5 GOAT modes. I believe the Badlands, or the most off-road capable Bronco Sport, has 7 modes. Very capable vehicle, even in this trim. I'd say it's a little bit more capable than something like the Tucson. You have the brown leather stitch armrest. Inside you'll find 2 more USB charge ports and a large cubby for sure. It does not slide, but it is large enough to where your arm can comfortably rest on it pretty much in any seating position. And one thing I noticed immediately stepping in to drive this vehicle where I'm sitting right now is the amount of headroom in this vehicle. I mean, it is insane. The boxy nature definitely shows in the available headroom. So you can see I'm sitting roughly where I would normally in this vehicle, and I probably have somewhere like 8 inches of headroom. It's pretty nuts, to be honest. There is an optional single pane sunroof on the Bronco Sport that this one does not have. So there's no panoramic option with this vehicle, but you can get the standard sunroof, which I bet would eat up a little bit of that headspace. But still plenty no matter what trim you get of the Bronco Sport and if you option the sunroof or not. So moving up top, light colored headliner, pretty typical stuff. Vanity lighting, auto dimming interior rear view mirror, LED lighting for the cabin there, and a sunglasses holder, which is not something you'll find in the Tucson. But I do really like the seat comfort. I think they are a nice seat. They're pretty long in terms of your thigh support, very soft touch materials. And you can see here on the side of this one, there's a little pocket. And once we get to the back, you'll see all of the additional storage options as well. So I'll go ahead and jump in the back seat of the Bronco Sport really quick. Once again, the hard touch door panel for the most part is going to follow through. Still a soft touch armrest with the accent right there. Good amount of storage for the back door as well. Legroom is going to be maybe a little bit less than something like the Tucson, just because this is 10 inches shorter, I believe, than that Tucson over there. Still have AC vents and 110 volt outlet down below. And as far as the rear seat storage options I was talking about, you have this nice zipper pouch on both the front seats that goes down maybe 12 inches or so. So you can put stuff kind of secure, out of sight, out of mind in there. And you can get 4 additional accessories for these loops on the backs of the seat. So definitely geared towards storing your gear inside of the vehicle for hiking, camping. Bunch of little nooks and crannies, which is really nice. Armrest, 2 cup holders, 60/40 split folding seats. And once again, the amount of headroom in this vehicle is crazy. Back here, I maybe have 6 inches of headroom, but still way more than a lot of vehicles. So now let's go ahead and step on into the Hyundai Tucson Limited and see what this vehicle has to offer. Now I picked one with the light gray leather interior rather than the black, just to show the contrast and the colors and materials and everything like that. Soft touch upper doors, soft touch armrest once again, but you can immediately see this is a more, I guess, elegant, not as hard touch materials throughout the door panel. Maybe not as durable either. That's definitely something to consider if you're cross-shopping these two vehicles, and depending on your lifestyle and what you do, this might not be quite as durable as something like the Ford Bronco. Still have power windows, mirrors, and locks. Do get 2-person memory seat for the driver's side, which is not available on the Bronco Sport. Good amount of storage, but you can see not as, I guess, large bottle friendly as the Bronco Sport. Power driver's seat with 2-way power lumbar. And you can see the seats are all monotone. Again, available in this light gray or black leather. Do have a nice silver accent up here. And again, overall with the design language, you can see just a little bit different design. So immediately you can see this is a totally different aesthetic as the Bronco Sport. Fully digital gauge cluster with 10.25-inch screen. This has the cameras in the mirrors once again, so you can view your blind spot when you're turning. Leather wrapped steering wheel, softer leather, smoother, not as rugged feeling. Once again, a little bit different design on the steering wheel. Gloss black accents. On the left side, you have your audio and infotainment. On the right, you have your safety systems, including adaptive cruise control, highway driving assist 1, lane following assist. So pretty similar technology between these two vehicles. Automatic headlights, auto high beam assist, rain sensing wipers. So once again, the overall equipment is very similar. Gauge illumination, power trunk, traction control off. See, there is paddle shifters on the steering wheel. But moving across the dashboard, you can see this one has the 10.25-inch infotainment with built-in navigation. So a larger screen versus the 8-inch found in that car. Still have dual zone automatic climate control. You can see all of the touch sensitive buttons here versus all the physical buttons in the Bronco Sport. USB-A charge ports, so no USB Type-C outlets in the Tucson. Wireless charging pad and Hyundai digital keypads right here. Heated and ventilated front seats, heated steering wheel, hill descent control, parking sensors. Here's your parking camera button. So once again, this has the 360 camera system. Pretty high resolution, looks good. Push button gear selection, so a similar shift by wire as the Bronco Sport with the knob over there. Drive modes still available: snow, smart, sport, and normal. Pretty typical stuff. Electronic parking brake. Here's your key fob. Has remote smart parking assist, so you can control the vehicle from outside with the key fob, move it forward and backward. That is a cool feature. Here's your center console, still nicely leather wrapped. Armrest. Good amount of storage inside, no ports. Doesn't slide either, but it is in an overall good spot to be comfortable in most seating positions. Up top, light colored headliner once again. Auto dimming rearview mirror with garage home link. LED interior illumination, Blue Link SOS. Sunroof control, so this one has the panoramic sunroof. So another key difference between these two vehicles, where only a standard sunroof is available in the Bronco Sport. However, the panoramic is available here in the Tucson. Coming to the back of the Tucson, most of the materials are going to fall through. Hard touch uppers, soft touch armrest, similar gloss black accents, heated rear seats in the Tucson Limited, but mostly the same design as the front seats. One bottle storage spot in the rear doors. Reclining second row seats, still in the same leather. There's a look at the front dashboard. Still have AC vents in the back, 2 USB charge ports, so you trade a 110 volt outlet for 2 USBs. Map nets on the backs of the front seats, so not as many storage options on the backs of the seats. Center armrest with 2 cup holders still here. 60/40 split folding seats, and once again, these do recline. And I think this vehicle is larger overall than the Bronco Sport, so you get a little bit of additional legroom. This seat's pretty far back, but the legroom is going to be, I think, a little bit better in the Tucson versus the Bronco Sport. Let's go ahead and compare the trunk space and cargo areas of these two vehicles, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. So when it comes to the cargo space of the Bronco Sport, once again, I mentioned this earlier, but you can open the glass on this vehicle. So if you just need to reach in and grab something, throw something in really quick, that's a very neat feature for sure. But you can't open the entire tailgate. There's no power tailgate available on any Bronco Sport. So it's just a manual assisted tailgate. And in the back, you'll find a ton of rugged materials and some neat features for sure. So on the right, you have some LED lighting, typical stuff, 12 volt outlet. You have these little hooks that you can kind of push in, kind of carabiner style hooks. Pretty neat for sure. So if you have a bag or something that you just want to quickly hook on there, just push it in, hooks into place. And if you want to pull it out, obviously you can pull it out. But a lot of the materials back here are hard touch, hard plastics, probably easy to clean. And you see this little light button over here. You push that, it actually turns on LED lighting on the tailgate lid itself. So that'll shine down when you're loading, unloading stuff at night, and just give you a nice space to work, again, in dark conditions. And the neat thing is that these are actually adjustable, so you can adjust the light where it needs to go. I'm assuming this lets out a pretty decent amount of light. But moving on to the Tucson Limited, immediately you're going to notice the power tailgate. You can program the height, so that's a nice feature. And immediately you can tell that the load floor is going to be lower versus that vehicle. That has something to do with the ride height, I have a feeling, but also maybe the full-size spare tire underneath the floor, whereas the Tucson is going to have a compact spare tire, so a little bit narrower. Still have the same amount of underfloor storage, pretty shallow, but nice to have it in both vehicles nonetheless. Subwoofer here in the Limited with the Bose premium audio. Can fold down the seats from the back here. Cargo privacy cover. Lighting on the left side, 12 volt outlet, but mostly hard touch materials minus the floor here, which is all carpeted, along with the backs of the rear seats, which is carpeted. But I believe you might be able to get a liner or something to cover that if you wanted. This is a reversible trunk mat, so this is rubber line that you can flip over, use it as a rubber mat to help protect that carpet. But I'd say there's a little bit more storage space in the back of the Tucson, but once again, this is a larger vehicle versus the Bronco Sport, but not too far off in terms of size. Nice to have the full-size spare in the Bronco Sport though. So now to wrap up this video with the powertrains that these two vehicles offer, because like I said in the introduction, they aren't too dissimilar in terms of the overall power figures. So the Bronco Sport here on my right features the 1.5 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder that puts out 181 horsepower and 190 pound-feet of torque through all 4 wheels. Now the Tucson on my left features the naturally aspirated 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that puts out 191 horsepower and 181 pound-feet of torque. Again, this one's all-wheel drive, so through all 4 wheels. And in terms of the transmission between these two vehicles, once again, you're gonna find a similarly here because both of them use an 8-speed torque-converted automatic transmission. So no dual clutches, nothing like that in each of these vehicles, just a torque-converted 8-speed automatic. And if you do want additional power out of each of these two vehicles, they do offer available optional powertrains. So the Bronco Sport, like I said, offers the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo that puts out 250 horsepower and I believe right around 280 pound-feet of torque, whereas the Tucson offers the hybrid power plant that pairs the electric motor to the 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder for about 220 to 240 horsepower and the mid to upper 200 pound-feet of torque as well, depending if you get the regular hybrid versus the plug-in hybrid, which offers a little bit more power. So that's going to wrap up this video comparison of the Bronco Sport Outer Banks versus the Hyundai Tucson Limited. Now let me know down in the comment section below if you think both of these vehicles actually compete with one another or have any buyers that might cross shop these two, because they definitely offer very different experiences and materials on the inside, and I'm sure the driving dynamics are going to be a little bit different as well, with the Bronco Sport maybe being a little bit more capable in every trim that it offers versus the Hyundai Tucson. So I'm sure you'll be able to tell the differences between these two here in the video and some of the points I pointed out. So I'm not going to reiterate too much, but definitely more hard touch materials, more durable materials maybe in the Bronco Sport versus the Tucson. The technology might not be quite as up to date as the Tucson over there. You do have the smaller infotainment screen. Some people might like that. You have a partially digital gauge cluster versus the full digital in the Tucson. I think some of the highway driving assist and overall safety tech is going to be a little bit more advanced in the Tucson as well. But this Bronco Sport, like I said, may be a little bit more capable. Certainly isn't lacking any additional features that aren't needed for a lot of people. Like again, still have the dual zone automatic climate control, heated front seats, heated steering wheel. A lot of the same safety tech, might not be quite as advanced. But you still have the all-terrain GOAT modes, which is nice. So again, I think this offers a good value, but it's ultimately up to you, the consumer, to which one you might want to spend upwards of $40,000 on. And if you happen to own either of these two vehicles seen in the video, make sure to leave an ownership comment down in the comment section. There might be people that are cross-shopping these two and want to hear actual real-world experiences from owners. So make sure to leave that information down below. Take a second. I would really appreciate it, and I'm sure others would appreciate it as well. So once again, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and as always, I hope to see you guys in the next one.